Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at a really famous historical moment, but maybe not in the way you'd expect.
hmm
We're going deep into the iconic Dandy Salt March, but well through a very specific, very personal story.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here is our source. It's actually a work of fiction called A Journalist's Salt-Soaked Journey with Gandhi.
Fiction,
Well,
okay?
yes, but it's written by Mayak Chaya, who is himself a journalist,
Hmm.
and it's part of an upcoming short story collection he's putting together. And what he does, quite brilliantly, I think, is weave together real historical facts. You know, the Dandi March itself, Gandhi's famous speech at Banaras Hindu University, with this fictional character's life story.
A life story rooted in salt, apparently.
Exactly. That's the hook.
Right. So our mission today, then, is to figure out how this fictional journalist whose life is, you said, literally rooted in salt, how his story intersects with one of India's biggest moments of, well, defiance. Okay, let's unpack this. How does this personal salt connection weave into the bigger historical picture? Where does the story start?
Well, the journalist opens his narrative with this really striking line. He says, "Salt is in my blood. My grandfather was a Malangi or a salt worker in Orissa. We are the salt of the earth."
Wow, okay, straight in. Salt is in my blood. That sets a tone.
It really does. It immediately grounds you. He tells us his grandfather, Lakshmidhar, was actually one of over 20 salt workers killed by tigers back in 1846. Just killed while gathering firewood.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. And his father, Gopal Bandhu, he was a Malangi for a bit too, but then pursued education, started an Oriya newspaper called Desh Bandhu.
A newspaper.
More like a pamphlet initially, apparently.
Hmm.
But crucially, it reported on the terrible famine of 1866. A famine worsened because the British had stopped local salt production.
And that famine hit his family directly.
It did. Two of the journalist's uncles died. His father's headline from that time was Amakshatari Luna Gasiba,
Which means?
rubbing salt in our wounds. I mean,
Yeah.
it just perfectly captures this deep inherited family pain
Yeah.
tied directly to salt and British policy.
So salt isn't just, an economic thing for them.
That's right.
It's lineage, it's suffering, it's woven into their very being.
Absolutely.
So how does that legacy, that heavy history, lead him to Gandhi?
Okay, so we jump forward to 1916. The journalist, he's now writing the newspaper Deshbandhu after his father passed away. He'd been aware of Gandhi's work over in South Africa.
Right.
So when Gandhi's back in India and speaking at the Banaras Hindu University inauguration, the journalist makes this, quite difficult journey just to hear him. He's curious.
And Gandhi's speech there, it wasn't exactly a typical welcome home hero kind of thing, was it?
No, not at all. It was actually quite shocking for many. He didn't talk about grand patriotic themes initially. Instead, he pointed out the dirtiness of the streets near the sacred Vishwanath temple.
Really? He focused on sanitation.
Yeah, he asked, if even their temples weren't clean and roomy, what hope was there for self-government? A really bracing critique, especially for someone just back after 21 years abroad.
Quite a statement.
And our journalist, he immediately saw the power in it, the significance. He wrote a lead article about it for Deshbandhu.
Okay, so there's an intellectual connection forming. But given his family's history with salt, that specific struggle, how does that pull him back to Gandhi later, specifically for the Salt March?
Right. Fast forward another 14 years to 1929 or early 1930. The journalist is now 61. Same age as Gandhi, actually.
Oh, interesting parallel.
And the idea of a salt satyagraha, this nonviolent resistance focused on salt. Well, for him, it wasn't just political theory. It was deeply, deeply personal. He reads Gandhi's letter to Lord Irwin, the defiant one, saying he'll disregard the salt laws, calling the tax the most iniquitous from the poor man's standpoint.
That must have resonated incredibly strongly.
Immensely. So he travels to Sabarmati Ashram, meets Gandhi briefly, and they even apparently remark on being the same age, and he joins the marchers heading to Dandi.
Walking the whole 240 miles
Yeah.
at 61.
Yep. He knew he was part of something historic. He'd already decided on his headline for Deshbandhu, Lunatiari Kari Eka Samrajya Pangiba,
Nina.
making salt and breaking an empire.
Powerful. Just powerful. So they finally reach Dandi, April 5th. Gandhi picks up that symbolic fistful of salt, breaking the law. What did that moment feel like for the journalist?
The story notes the Dandi salt itself was gritty, almost inedible. But that wasn't the point, was it?
No, is the act, the defiant.
Exactly, the challenge. The journalist actually asks Gandhi how the British will react, and Gandhi says something like, "This salt will eat away the foundation of the British rule." And the journalist describes having tears in his eyes right then, picturing his grandfather, Lakshmidhar. the one killed by the tiger. Picturing him smiling just before he died, it was more than politics, it felt like a culmination of generations of his family's pain and struggle.
So we've really traced this incredible line, haven't we? From a deeply personal, tragic family history centered on salt, all the way to this pivotal moment in India's independence movement led by Gandhi.
Yeah.
This story really shows how individual lives, personal histories, get caught up in these huge historical tides and maybe even help shape them.
It absolutely does. And I think what this fictional account highlights so well is how something like Satyagraha, which can sound abstract, becomes incredibly real, incredibly urgent when it connects with generations of hardship like this.
It makes history feel human, not just dates and big names.
Exactly. That image of the journalist's tears, thinking of his grandfather,
Hmm.
that says so much about that connection.
So, thinking about this, what does it mean for us listening now? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the sort of salt-soaked parts of our own lives,
Hmm.
our own family stories, our personal experiences? How might they give us a unique way to understand the big events happening around us today?
That's a really interesting question.
And how do those personal stories actually enrich history, make it deeper than just the official record? What stands out to you from this incredible journey we've just followed? Something to think about.